Hello everyone, welcome back to SAT Math Question of the Day. Here's our question of the day. It comes from the educator site of the SAT people from the SAT, and spoiler alert, you can possibly see this on one of the Blue Book tests. Okay, here we go. The functions f and g are defined as f of x is a quarter of x minus 9 and g of x is 3/4 of x plus 21. If the function h is defined as h of s is f of x plus g of x, what is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept of the graph of y is h of x? Doesn't seem too bad, but Seth, why don't you do it? Because I'm still recovering from last week.
They ask for the x-coordinate of the x-intercept of this graph. So what we want is the answer is the x such that 0 equals h of x.
Okay.
Now, so let's figure this out. Now we're told that the h of x is f of x plus g of x. And we're told that f of x is a quarter times x minus 9. So this whole thing equals quarter x minus 9. That's our f of x. And g of x is 3/4 x. 3/4 x. Right. Plus 21. All right, so let's simplify that. 0 equals, so let's simplify that. Quarter x plus a quarter x. Quarter x plus 3/4 of x is 1x. And for the constants, we have minus 9 plus a plus 21, which is 21 minus 9, which is 20 minus 8, which is 12. Okay, so the x, the value of x, that makes what value of x? So x plus 12 equals 0. That's negative 12.
Right.
That's the answer.
Yeah. So the key here seems to be that you have to know what this means. What does this notation mean? Right there. That's the key to the problem. The arithmetic, once you know that, well, you also have to know how to combine like terms and add fractions.
No, you also have to know what the x-intercept is.
Yes, you also have to know
what the x-coordinate of the x-intercept.
Right. As opposed to writing it the actual point. Yeah, I would always maybe draw a little graph. The x-intercept means the line, the point that's on this axis, the x-axis, and that occurs when the y value, or the height is 0, y is equal to 0. The answer, the output of the function has to be 0. So that's what you set to be 0, and then you solve for the input, the x value that makes that equation 0. Right, yeah. So it's very standard stuff. As long as you are familiar with function notation and what this means. As opposed to f of g of x, which is another type, which is called the composition of functions. And that is not what they're asking for. They're asking you for the easier one, f of x plus g of x. They could have made it a little harder. They could have put a 4 in front of this. They could have put a 4 in front of this, right? And then you would have to multiply g of x by 4 and then add it to f of x. But they didn't. They didn't at all do that. Yeah, so it looks pretty standard. Yep. Yes, I have to know a few things. Okay, so I guess let's go through our questions. Calculator. Actually, we can use a calculator, and when we're done with the other stuff, I'll show you that. or if that is a possibility. If you're comfortable adding fractions and combining like terms, doing like this, like us older people do, because we never grew up with a calculator, we would prefer this way to do it. But there is a way to use a calculator for this. We'll do in a second. Is there a pattern to this question that makes it different from any other way? It makes it unique? Not really. I mean, the fact that a quarter and 3/4 add up to 1 is nice. 1x, that's nice. Would you get this question in school? Maybe not. Maybe they would just simply ask you, what is h of x? Please write down an expression of h of x, not that second part. Well, once you know h of x, then what is the x-coordinate of the x-intercept?
These are the question. The question we see here is what should be asked in school.
Yes, because it is a multi-part problem. And multi-part problems are always a little bit more complicated than non-multi-part problems, single-step problems. So this problem has about 3 parts. Starting with a guess, of course, that doesn't apply because it's free response. And the main idea, we sort of touched on it. They have about 3 or 4 main ideas. I think the most important main idea that's unique to this question that's really unique to this question, is this notation. Because x-intercepts are not unique to this question. Adding fractions is not unique. Combining like terms is not unique. Solving for an equation is not unique. But this is unique to the question, knowing what that notation means. And of course, you need to know, as we said, what the x-intercept is, how to combine like terms, how to add fractions, and how to solve for an equation. So it turns out that I've been watching a bunch of videos that people make. We strongly encourage you to watch these videos called Desmos Hacks for the Digital SAT, or Desmos, do YouTube, type Desmos Digital SAT, because you wouldn't believe the stuff you can do with a calculator on the digital SAT. And believe it or not, Seth, you can actually solve this equation using Desmos. So I think it's fair for us to show people how to do that. So let us do that. Yeah, so I will clear the drawings and then open up this Desmos calculator. We're going to have to minimize us and watch what you can do. You can type 0, and you don't even have to combine like terms. 1/4 x minus 9 plus 3/4 x. Oops. 9. The problem is that you can make mistakes typing. So you'd only do this if you're pretty good with typing. And there we go. And that would solve it. Although, what was our answer?
Well,
our answer was 12, right?
Negative 12.
No, positive. Did you say negative 12? Positive 12. Yeah. Oh, negative 12. Yes, negative 12. Wait, 0. Yeah, you're right. X is equal to negative 12. Wait, so how come Desmos is not... What did I do wrong? How come Desmos is not... Oh, there it is. There it is.
X, yeah, X equals negative.
The calculator for a linear equation...
Oh, yeah.
For a linear equation that has only one... Well, I guess any equation... No, yeah, let's just say linear. For a linear equation that has only one variable, Desmos will give you the answer by the intersection of the red line with the x-axis, negative 12. So, if you're really good with typing, you're really good with Desmos, and you have your Desmos calculator up while you're taking the test, which I frankly would find annoying, but if you do, then you can just type this in. You don't even have to combine like terms to get the answer in a second. It wouldn't be right for us to show this possibility as a way to do it, since people should know that you can do it this way. Okay? So believe it or not. So what do you think of this, Seth?
Yeah.
Sort of
well, you could also with Desmos, put in the equation of the h function.
Right. Yeah.
So they'll replace that 0 with a y,
Right. And then y is equal to 0.
and then you get the graph of the line,
Right.
and you could see the x-intercept is where it crosses the x-axis.
That's
and
right.
You could read off the x-coordinate, -12.
That is true. That is absolutely right. Yes, that's even better. Yes, you could just do that. You could just literally type the function directly in. You are absolutely right. That saves you even a thinking step. See, the problem I have with relying on Desmos on doing these things, or even listening to other videos that tell you, well, this is how you do the problem. Wrong. Wrong. You cannot really learn math just knowing how to do these problems without knowing them how to do them without the calculator. And then you can decide, should I waste my time? Well, should I? I mean, is the calculator really going to help me? But if you don't understand the concepts behind why and how the calculator works when you watch those other videos, stop and say, well, why does that work? Not just use the calculator, because there will be questions on the test where the calculator won't help, but you have to understand the concepts behind it. But yes, if you want to, yes, Seth, you're right. You can just literally type the thing in, y is equal to this, pick off the x coordinate and go like that. You can also type y is equal to 0, and now you have the intersection of two equations. When y is 0, there you go. Okay, so I guess what we should do is we should go back. Where are we? We should go back and see how they do it. And of course, they will not offer multiple ways of doing it. That's not what they do, but we try. That's sort of our shtick. Okay. Wow.
So many words.
And they call this a hard question. Seth, do you agree with me that this really isn't that hard of a question?
Yes.
Yeah. Okay. Okay. So let's do what we do best, which is criticize the SAT. Okay, if the function h is defined as that, then substituting for f of x, that's good. They use the word substitution, which is important in algebra. This can be written as this, where h of x is x plus 12, right? Yes, 4 over 4x, yes, okay. They explain what the x-intercept is. It's when y is 0. So you substitute y for 0. They use the word substitution, which is good. Subtract 12 from both sides of the equation. We didn't do that because the answer to the question was so easy to solve. Therefore, it's negative 12.
No, this is fine, but I would point out that you could get the answer by simply recognizing that the number that makes 0 when it's added to a positive number is the negative version of the number. They
Right.
can get here directly
Right.
at x equals -12.
Yeah.
Now, -12 is the number that has been constructed so that when you add it to 12, you get 0.
Yeah.
So the negative numbers, one reason for there being negative numbers is so that you could always find a number which, when you add it to another number. So if you only had positive numbers, if you have a positive number that's non-zero, only allowed to add positive numbers, you could never get 0.
And that would not model.
So they added. Some mathematicians at various points in history, people invented negative numbers,
right?
So that when you add them to positive numbers, you get 0. It's unfair. It's unfair for positive. If you have positive numbers, you could never get 0 by adding a positive number. But if you had 0, you can add 0 to it and get 0. So it's just not fair. It makes 0 too special to add things to it and get 0. But other numbers, you can't add things to them and get 0. So why not? So they make up positive numbers so that you can do that. But
Right,
they make up negative numbers.
So
they could add to positive numbers.
You don't have to repeat it 10 times. Okay, 8. So you don't have to repeat it 6 times. No, you only repeat it 2 times. But Seth's
Yeah.
showing his background as a PhD in math. I have a PhD in mechanical engineering. So what I would say to that, what you're essentially saying, in order to do math, like math, pure math, you need those negative numbers. Otherwise, you can't do math. From an engineering background, I would say you need those negative numbers so that you could model reality more. You could model the world using math, because that's what engineers do. They take the world, they look at it, they try to write equations or math to model it. Yes, you would not be able to model something like you have 10 inches of snow and eventually it all melts and you have 0 inches of snow. What happened? How do you model that? Well, you need a negative number. So that's our background. So I'm Joel. I have a PhD in mechanical engineering. Mechanical engineering, as I already said, so that's a PhD in math.
Well, when was the last time there was a snowstorm in which a negative number of inches of snow accumulated?
A negative? No, I don't think you can have maybe without being clever or without going outside the box using your left brain thinking. Unless it's a trick question. I don't think. No, you can have a snowstorm with a negative accumulation if the snow coming down is so warm. I don't know how it's possible that it melts the snow that's existing on the sidewalk. Okay, so you'd have to start a layer of snow, and then you need a cold layer of snow, and then you need warm snow on top of it. That has to be above 32, but I don't know how you get snow above 32. Unless, unless the snow that's sitting on the sidewalk is so cold that it's got salt in it. Right? It's been salted, and it's so cold that that's frozen. It's frozen snow really would be ice. And then you have a 32-degree snowflake coming in, which is warmer than the temperature necessary to freeze the salty snow. And then you can... Right? Yeah. It's fun to speculate about this stuff. Anyway, so we're here we do math SAT question, math SAT question of the day. We go over one question a day. And we look at it from different points of view. So we have different lenses and we have different approaches. So we offer those and to hopefully give you the ideas and the concepts necessary for you to tackle whatever problem they're going to throw at you. If you're weak on any, please practice on all the Blue Book tests. We've heard rumors that Blue Book 4 and Blue Book 6 on the math side are closest to the actual test. Blue Book 6 is a particularly hard test, so they should definitely practice on that and see what you get. And if they're weak on anything, go to Khan Academy and practice on their digital site. And and then if you're even on the stuff you're strong on, you should practice on so they can do those faster and more accurate. So you have time on those few questions, hopefully few questions on the math SAT that require some serious amount of thinking and time. Okay, so you just need to practice. Okay, I guess that's it for today. Please dislike our videos. I guess that's it for today, right?
That's right.
And please leave comments. We take all the comments very seriously, and we try to respond to every comment as we can. Okay, everyone, have a great day. Take care, everyone. Bye-bye.